Like and subscribe or you're going to have bad luck for the rest of the week. When you're living next to a beach, then you're probably taking an evening stroll to enjoy the sunset over the sea, aren't you? But what if that peaceful moment was interrupted by something bizarre lying on the shore? What if it looked like some strange alien-like creature or object from outer space? Would you panic and run? Or would curiosity get the better of you? If you love such stuff, then check out the 10 strangest things washed up on shore. Number 10. Bizarre-looking sea serpent on Catalina Island. Residents on Catalina Island, California were scared out of their wits to find a long, slithering sea serpent that had washed up on the beach in 2015. Well, it wasn't exactly a sea serpent, although that was the first impression. The creature was first spotted by a Jasmine Santana, a marine scientist snorkeling in the area. She immediately put people's fears to rest by identifying it as an oarfish, a very rare marine species that hardly ever ventures out of the deep. The silvery carcass was an unbelievably 18 feet long and needed more than 15 people to drag it further down the shore. Hailing it as a discovery of a lifetime, the carcass was studied by biologists at the University of California in Santa Barbara, who declared it had died of natural causes. Marine scientists say that an oarfish is one of the most beautiful species that grace the deep. In Japan, however, they are considered auspicious foretellers, who only appear to warn of an impending earthquake or tsunami. Number 9. Red carpet of crabs throng Southern California coast. It seems like 2015 was an eventful year for strange occurrences on the beaches of California. Fresh from the surprise of the oarfish, locals on the Southern California coast were overawed at the sight of millions of red tuna crabs.
Oh my gosh, so yesterday we were down here.
They resembled crawfish washing up on shore. The entire area looked like a moving carpet of red, almost 16 inches thick, glistening in the sun. Now, why did that happen? Balboa Island beaches especially were overrun by the red crustaceans, and marine scientists had no clue how they got there. While you can't help some weirdos seeing an opportunity to collect some of the nice tasty dinner, many others tried collecting the crabs to throw them back in the water. The natural habitat of these little crabs is Baja California, and the only explanation offered by marine biologists was the possibility of rising ocean temperatures and global warming that displaced the crabs. Number 8. Icy balls on Siberian beach. Imagine finding clusters of snowballs some 3 feet in diameter on a beach. And not just one or two, but thousands of them. People in Siberia's Gulf of Ob were puzzled to find hordes of these snowballs strewn around the beaches in November 2016. Some were as big as golf balls, and some like bowling balls. Now, people in Siberia aren't afraid of snow, but this seemed too far out. The balls of ice looked like a giant frosted ice ball party stretching 11 miles along the coast. Villagers from the neighboring village of Nida, located on the Yamal Peninsula in the Arctic, shook their head in disbelief, declaring they had never seen such perfect spheres before. Scientists finally resolved the confusion by finding out that the icy spheres were created by a natural phenomenon. Tiny pieces of ice constantly dragged by winds and water kept growing in size. A constant rolling action is what created the perfect sphere-like formations. Number 7. Thousands of Kinder eggs. As kids, we all loved Kinder eggs, didn't you? The plastic eggs with a toy and sweet inside are irresistible. But what happens if you find thousands of them? Wouldn't that sound like some sort of dream? No, it definitely wasn't a dream for the residents of Longyear Beach in Germany, who were pleasantly surprised to find tens of thousands of Kinder Surprise eggs strewn all over the shore, all with their toys still intact. While children had a field day gathering as many eggs as they could, adults were puzzled about how exactly they got there. It definitely wasn't Santa Claus, nor was it Kinder from heaven. The mystery was later revealed when reports filtered in of a huge freighter carrying a huge toy shipment that was caught up in Storm Axel, but luckily pulled through. However, the cargo was not so lucky, and several containers were thrown overboard. It seemed like the one that was carrying the Kinder toys might have broken open just before being washed ashore, spilling the toys all over the beach. The local mayor did not stop locals and children from collecting the eggs. In fact, he declared them duty-free. Number 6. Mysterious blue creatures washed up in San Pedro. If you haven't seen a wind sailor before, then you would have loved being among the locals in San Pedro. Beachgoers from Oceanside to Prismo were treated to a rare beauty of the ocean's deep, the mysterious jellyfish-like creature called Velila velalis, or the wind sailor. The strange, fantasy-like creatures looked as if they came up from the very depths of Atlantis and appeared on the sands of Balboa Pier in Newport Beach. They looked elegant and beautiful in appearance. Wind sailors have a bluish, almost translucent tint and can be very hard to spot. But in April 2019, they surprised everyone by appearing on the beach in large numbers for mysterious reasons. While wind sailors may look like jellyfish, they do not sting and are completely harmless. The scientist also explained how wind sailors don't swim. They happily skim the ocean's surface, allowing the water to transport them. This is why they may have been carried by extreme wind and currents to the shores of San Pedro. Carpets of blue were also seen in Malibu and Catalina Island. Number 5. The St. Augustine Monster. Even the name sounds creepy, and that's exactly what it turned out to be, a globster. In case you don't know what a globster is, it's a term for an unidentified animal mass that washes up on a beach, and the results in a cryptozoologist assuming it may be a monster. One extremely large, unidentified carcass was discovered in Florida in November 1896. The blob-like monster was spotted by boys playing on Anastasia Island and thought it may be a whale. They alerted Dr. DeWitt Webb, the founder of the St. Augustine Historical Society and Institute of Science, who felt it could be the remains of a giant octopus unlike seen before. Photos of the specimen were also sent to the Smithsonian, and it took a century of research and tests by marine biologists to figure out what it was. Finally, in 2004, it was concluded that yes, the boys were correct after all. It was a whale. Number 4. 18-foot sperm whale with 220 pounds of plastic in its stomach. Whales washed up on shore with stomachs full of plastic are not uncommon, like the one found on Wakatobi National Park on Kapatoda Island, Indonesia. But what was even more alarming was a juvenile sperm whale that washed up ashore with 220 pounds of debris in its stomach. The young whale was found stranded on Lochtensteyer Beach, on the island of Harris in the northwest corner of the Western Isles of Scotland. The whale had ingested so much refuse and garbage that he couldn't make it anymore and beached on the shore to most probably take his last breath. Marine biologists doing an autopsy were shocked to find a huge ball of litter that included large bundles of rope obviously left by fishermen, plastic cups thrown aboard by revelers on the seas. Scientists declared that the 13-foot young whale died because the garbage inside its stomach just did not allow it to process food. This also goes to show how marine pollution is a grave matter of concern as we choke our oceans with plastic. Number 3. 100 live WW2 bombs. If you like seeing World War II movies, then you should know by now the scenario on the heavily mined beaches during D-Day. Imagine how many soldiers may have been forced to tread cautiously for fear of being blown up. Well, a similar situation on a smaller scale seemed to have been replicated on Cashlot Beach in New Hampshire in 2011. Locals were horrified to find no less than 100 World War II-era bombs lying strewn around. They were very real and obviously very dangerous too. Several felt it was because of the supermoon of the previous week, known to cause super low tides that possibly washed up the bombs on shore. Others felt that they may have been pulled up by the fishing nets and just left there. However, the experts attributed it to the low tide and low atmospheric pressure. A Royal Navy bomb disposal squad promptly arrived on the scene, because one false step and that would have been disastrous. The bombs, that included 87 mortars measuring about 4 inches by 20 inches, were stacked together at low tide by a 5-man unit and then detonated at high tide. Number 2. Bizarre eyeless creature with sharp teeth washes up in Mexico. Around the world, there have been reports of bizarre creatures washing up on the beach, but no one could have been quite prepared for something that looked like a sea serpent discovered on a Mexican beach. Locals walking across the Jalisco beach on Mexican's Pacific coast were horrified to see a huge, dead serpent-like creature, which they first thought may have been a dolphin. But on closer look, they saw it had neither eyes nor dolphin-like head, but it had such menacing teeth that it could never have been a dolphin. None were able to identify this monster, which many thought may have surfaced from the very depths of the ocean. After all, the ocean floor holds mysteries and bizarre creatures that man is yet to find. Fishermen in the area were asked to examine the creature, but none could quite identify it, saying it was unlike anything they had ever seen. What they did confirm, however, was the existence of an area, Puerto Vallarta, that is more than 1,000 meters deep. The creature may have possibly surfaced from there. Local media investigations also yielded no reports that the creature was a fake. This is one incident that remains a mystery even today. Number 1. The Maid of Harlech. How awesome would it be to go strolling along the beach and see a huge World War II fighter aircraft laying in the shallow water? That's exactly what happened in Wales. A plane called the Maid of Harlech, named after a famous 13th century Welsh castle, crashed way back in 1942. The plane lay undetected for more than 65 years, till shifting and displaced sand revealed what was once regarded as one of the most important finds in World War II history. The Lockheed P-38 of the United States Air Force, discovered in 2007, was a gem for aviation buffs and military history enthusiasts. At the time, pilot Robert Elliott revealed how the plane was part of a training exercise, but an engine malfunction caused him to bring the plane down in the waters of the Gwynedd coast. Surprisingly, he escaped unscathed, but unfortunately went missing in action 3 months later in North Africa. Local authorities declared the area of the plane an ancient monument site and issued rules that it was not to be disturbed because removing it could prove dangerous for the aircraft. However, a local charity in collaboration with the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery will soon remove the aircraft and have it displayed at a British museum.